Hi everyone, welcome back to Gracie Mae's Tarot. So today we have a video that was requested by a subscriber. This is why does your future spouse fall in love with you? So a big thank you to that subscriber. You're going to select your group based upon the heart that you are most drawn to. So we've got pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. The timestamps are listed below in the description box, just like always. Feel free to pause the video and meditate on the groups if you need to. And yeah, hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we're doing things a bit backwards today. We're going to start with your oracle and then we'll shuffle your tarot on camera. So you have health, Mother Earth, sweet Mother Earth bright, bring to me your health and might. You have Sun, you have Aquarius, we have self-love, we have athlete, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, strength of spirit. We have go outside, and we have abundance. So, what does this all mean? Why does your future spouse fall in love with you? Now, I think a lot of it has to do with the way in which your future spouse feels like you are good for their soul. Like there's just this feeling of you being very nurturing, like this person is good for my mental health, this person is good for my emotional health. You know, if they're spiritual, they feel like you're good for their spiritual health. Like they feel like you add something to their life. There's something about your energy that is very restorative to them. You know, you make them feel like they're good enough, like, you know, you bring about this sense of self-worth, this sense of self-love. And it's not like they didn't love or respect themselves before you came into their life, but you know how it is when you're around people who are draining to your energy, people who give you backhanded compliments, people who are insecure and they project that outwards, people who drain your energy, you know, like an energy vampire kind of thing. I've been watching a lot of What We Do in the Shadows. Comment down below if you also like that TV show. But anyway, like an energy vampire, you know, people who are draining. And you're the exact opposite of that. And I kind of feel like your future spouse may have dated in the past people who were insecure, people who were controlling, people who were detrimental to their overall health and wellness. And so to be around someone who gives to them rather than just takes from them, I think is really incredible. And so like if we think about the sun gives us what? Gives us warmth, right? The sun provides this sort of energy life force that allows us to live, right? And the same thing with nature. And so you have that sort of effect on them, you know, like going for a walk outside, how great you feel connecting with Mother Gaia. That's sort of your energy. Like you give that to your future spouse, you know, the feeling of like sunlight on your skin, you know, it's that sort of like warmth. And yeah, I think overall just a restorative nature to you, you know, it's very nurturing. And you feel like a hug, you know, and they just feel better in your presence. And I feel like sort of being with you helps them feel better about their life in general. You know, if I think of Aquarius energy, I think of friendship, but I also think of the collective and the group. And so there's something about your connection that raises the vibration of the collective because you guys really bring out the best in each other and you're very supportive of one another. And so there's this element of friendship here that sort of forms this solid foundation for your connection, for your relationship. I wouldn't be surprised if you're friends first and the romantic side develops over time. That could just be for some of you, but I really do feel like the reason why they fall in love with you is that they really feel like you're good for them, you know, like you are someone who has qualities that help elevate them as well, you know, like they feel like they can learn things from you and they feel like, you know, it's a very mutual, healthy connection. There's a lot here about it literally being a healthy connection. I also think that, you know, if we take this in a more literal sense, if you're someone who is really into health and fitness and working out, and you like being outdoors and you like being out in nature, that could be something that you guys bond over. That's a more specific message, again, a more literal interpretation of what I'm seeing. So that's definitely not going to apply for everyone. Also with this abundance card, there is this feeling of building together. And so I definitely think pile one, you two could be like a power couple and be very goal oriented. When I think of an athlete, I think of someone who's very self-disciplined, you know, because athleticism requires a lot of motivation, goals, long-term planning, and self-discipline. And it also involves teamwork, right? And collaboration. And you have two cards here that talk about collaboration and teamwork and partnership. So I think just in terms of your connection and your life together, that's something that your future spouse really values and likes about you, that you have your own goals and your own ambitions, but you're willing to work with your future spouse. And they like that you two can collaborate and build something together. So you may end up having like a joint soul mission with your future spouse, but I also just think like in a practical day-to-day sort of way, you and your future spouse just work really well together, and your future spouse takes note of that. Like, oh, this is someone who is really easygoing, someone who is willing to compromise, someone who is as detail-oriented as I am, someone who's as goal-oriented as I am. Like, they like that you're hardworking, they like that you have your own goals, that you are independent, that you know, but then you're also able to come together and work really well together. So, you know, I think they value that in you, absolutely. Let's see if there's any other messages coming through here. I also think they just really appreciate your sense of optimism, you know, like they like that you're hopeful. And again, like you're not draining, you know, that you're not negative, you're not pessimistic. You know, if they come to you with an idea, you don't, you know, because Aquarius has this idealism is what I'm trying to say. And so pairing that with like this Leo sun energy here, there's this beautiful balance between idealism and optimism. And so, you know, when you go to people and you have an idea and they're trying to be helpful, but really they're just putting you down and being like, well, what if that doesn't work out? And I think you need to be more practical. And, you know, are you sure you're going to be able to do that? And they're trying to be protective and helpful, but really it just comes off as them killing your dream. And so, you know, I think I think pile one, you hype your future spouse up and you encourage them and you're supportive of them, and, you know, you're really encouraging in terms of their dreams, and I think they really appreciate that about you. All right, let's get into the tarot now. I did want this to be a shorter reading. I'm trying to do a balance this month between longer and shorter readings to try to accommodate everyone's preferences. All right, pile one, why does your future spouse fall in love with you? And your future spouse's higher self is welcome to come through. And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Why does your future spouse fall in love with you, pile one? Yeah, I think that your future spouse with this Five of Cups has had a lot of disappointment in love previously. I think they've had either several romantic relationships that didn't work out, or maybe they just had one or two significant heartbreaks, you know, or they saw a future with their past partner and it didn't work out for whatever reason. And so you really represent to them hope and optimism for the future. And finally, this is someone that I can plan a long-term, you know, a long-term sort of goal with, you know, whether that's having a family, buying a home together. Yeah, like you're a new start, a fresh adventure. King of Pentacles here. Yeah, like this could be your energy or your future spouse's energy. This is divine masculine, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. But I think that honestly, this is your future spouse, and someone who is very practical, very grounded, and someone who looks at things like, is this someone that is going to be serious? Is this someone who's going to be committed to the relationship? Is this someone that I want to spend my day-to-day life with? You know, they look at things in a very practical way, and it kind of feels like you check every box that they've been wanting. You know, like a King of Pentacles would have a checklist, like, you know, is this person going to be a viable romantic partner? You know, like, is this person meeting all the things that I've been wanting? And it feels like you're checking off everything on their list, pile one. Also, my voice is a little bit hoarse here because I just woke up. We have the Emperor. Yeah, like this is Aries energy. This is a very like, this person is looking for their equal, you know, like the Emperor looking for the Empress. Like they're looking, again, like power couple vibes. Like we have Seven of Swords. Yeah, they want someone who's honest. And that's something they really value in you, is that you're very straightforward, you're to the point, you are very clear about what you want and what your expectations are. And so then they feel like they can be very clear and direct about what they want, and you guys are on the same page. And I think that, again, like they just have this really practical approach to love. And oh my gosh, the Empress. Yep. Like they feel like you are the perfect match. They don't feel like you're hiding anything. They don't feel like, they feel like they truly know you, you know? They feel like you've been open, you've been forthcoming, and they appreciate that so much. I feel like your future spouse is so tired of playing games. They're so tired of being lied to, of people putting up false facades, and they look at you and they're like, yes, this is someone who I can trust, someone I can build with, and it's a done deal. You know, like I feel like your future spouse is like really had enough of this Five of Cups energy. You know, they're just sick of it. And they're like, this is someone who has self-respect, someone who loves themselves, someone who has something to offer, and not someone who's going to project their insecurities and their nonsense onto me and take advantage of me. You know, this is someone who has their ducks in a row and it's going to be smooth sailing. Like that's your future spouse's energy here. So yeah, they feel like you are independent, empowered, you got your own deal going, you don't need them, but you want them, and they like that. You know, there doesn't feel like there's any codependency here, any red flags, any, you know, again, like this projection of insecurity and control, like there's not that issue. And so I feel like trust is a huge thing, and I feel like your future spouse is looking for someone who is mature and someone who has dealt with their own, you know, how do I put it? Dealt with their own shadows, I guess, their own issues, and okay, like we're both ready for this level of commitment, you know? Like it just feels like a very mature, grown kind of energy. I like your future spouse's energy. It's very direct. Yeah, okay, let's get the, what was it? The, it's always such a mouthful when I say this. This is a message from your future spouse's higher self, what they want you to know at the time of you viewing this reading. And this is the card that you selected. So we have a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. I love that you got this. Your love fills me with light, and then you got the Sun card, right? Like very nurturing. Like you are literally sunshine in their life. So you may also already know this person. That's not going to be for all of you, but you know, if you watch this reading and you have someone in mind, that could be confirmation for you. Otherwise, this is just telling me that you all are connected to each other on the astral plane, and you may not be too far away from meeting this person. So, pile one, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to simply watch the ads. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you, And a huge thank you again to the subscriber who suggested this topic, and I will see you guys in my next one. Take care, Pile 1. Hey Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So as you can tell, we're doing things a bit backwards today. We're going to start with your oracle, and then we will be shuffling your tarot on camera. So you all have Venus, love. You have 12th house, surrender. This is Pisces energy. We have beauty. I have a form which is divine. I allow what is within to shine. We have the fear card. Now, when I was laying out your oracle, I went back and I got the love story oracle out, and I clarified this fear card with the self-worth card. We have mystic, revels in intimate union with the divine, and we have pure intention and fairy spotting. So I actually want to start with this fairy spotting card because combination with this beauty card, I feel like your future spouse views you like a little fairy. Now, again, gender doesn't matter, but if I think about fairies, I think of something being very cute and precious and unique and different and quite beautiful, and I mean, in combination with the mystic card as well, like magical and different and even like a little bit otherworldly is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like there could be something very unique and special about the way that you speak or your voice. Like maybe you're very soft-spoken, or there's like this feminine quality to you. Even like your movements, maybe they're very graceful, or maybe there's something about your physical appearance as well. Maybe you're very petite, or the way that you dress is a bit fairy-like, maybe you're into sort of like the cottagecore aesthetic or something like that. Yeah, like you look like you should be skipping through a forest or something with like your bare feet. Something like that, but there's some sort of like fairy quality to you. And I think also, given the fact that we also have Venus here, I think there's a lot about physical attraction here. I just think that your future spouse thinks you are so beautiful, but again, it's not just how you appear. I think it's the way you move, the way you speak, your energy, your style, like it's all of that, it's sort of like you have that it factor, that certain like quality to you that sort of makes you a star in your future spouse's eyes, okay? And I think with this fear card, they may have been a little bit intimidated by you at first, maybe a bit nervous to approach you. And that's why we have this next to this self-worth card, because they kind of had to build up their confidence, I think, to even approach you or to even speak to you. Maybe they didn't feel like they were quite worthy of you at first, or maybe they were just a bit nervous that you were going to reject them, or maybe you just have like an intimidating, like even though you're cute and precious looking, there could be some aspect of you that is a bit intimidating to approach. Like maybe you're really introverted or reserved at first, and then you get this sweetness when people actually get to know you. So that could be something to consider. I also think with this Mystic card, obviously you're sitting here, maybe you're not sitting, but you're watching a tarot reading, right? So I assume that you have an interest in spirituality and, at least tarot, right? So I think that's something they find quite interesting. And you could be a tarot card reader yourself. You could read your own cards, or even do it professionally. Who knows? It's a general reading, but you at least have an interest in this. And I think that they find that really fascinating. I don't think that they are familiar with tarot or any occult related things or spiritual related things. So, maybe you also have an interest in like astrology or yoga, something like that, and they'll ask you a lot of questions about it. I think they'll be very curious about it. And again, like I just think I just think that they have this idea that you're very interesting and they want to know more and they're very curious about you. And I don't think they've ever met anyone quite like you before, or anyone who's had the interests that you have, or again, just the way that you speak and this quality about you that they find difficult to describe. I think you're a mystery and they want to know more. The way they're like peeking behind this curtain, like, I want to know more. And so I also think maybe you're a bit slow to open up. And so that also contributes to this air of mystery about you, especially with the 12th house Pisces being here. You know, you're hard to pin down, you're hard to describe. There's this ethereal, dreamlike quality to you. And you could literally be like the person of their dreams, you know, if we take this in a more literal context here. But I also feel like that spiritual maturity that you have with the Pisces energy, I think is also going to be very attractive to them, because I think that you're a very like forgiving person. You know, you have an understanding of what karma really means, and you know, you're not out to get revenge on anybody. And you know, I think that just the fact that you have such a good heart and you're so compassionate to other people, I think is very attractive to your future spouse. And with this pure intention, like they really feel like you just have a good heart. You know, like you look beautiful to them, but you also have a beautiful soul. And that is, you know, again, like it feels like you're the person of their dreams. Like this is the person, you represent the sort of love that they feel like they deserve. You know, like once they get over that fear of approaching you and they start to feel like, yeah, I am good enough, I am deserving of a love like this, you know, they start to realize like, this is what I deserve. Like this is the type of person that I should be with, someone who has good intentions, someone who has a pure heart. Yeah. They really are. Like, I feel like your future spouse is gonna fall head over heels in love with you. You know, I feel like I could definitely see them daydreaming about you before they even approach you. Okay, let's get into your tarot now. Pile 2. Why does pile 2's future spouse fall in love with them? And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. And your future spouse's higher self is also welcome to come through. Pile 2. Pile 2. Why does your future spouse fall in love with you? Oh, the Queen of Wands. No wonder you're a little bit intimidating, because the Queen of Wands, man, this is Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. These don't have to be your zodiac sign placements. Remember, a lot of what we're talking about right now is how your future spouse is perceiving you. The Queen of Wands is quite charming. She's quite charismatic, and she would definitely have like an it factor, a star quality to her. I mean, if you think of Leo energy, it's the sun, it's the center of the universe. All fire signs kind of command a certain attention to themselves, and it's a lot about it's not even like your extroverted center of attention. It's not necessarily like that, because fire signs can be quite quiet and reserved. A lot of it depends upon your rising sign, honestly, or your ascendant. But I think it's more so people can't help but look at you. Like, even if you're, for example, even if you're a reserved, quiet Leo, like you have your rising sign in Virgo or Capricorn, you know, like an earth sign energy, even then, it's like you're trying not to draw attention to yourself, and it can kind of irritate you. People still take notice of you. You're like, why is everyone looking at me? And like, I'm not even trying. But it's just something about that fire sign energy that people are drawn to. And the Queen of Wands is someone who is quite empowered. You know, even if it's not the loudest energy in the room, even if you, pile 2, are not a super extroverted person, you still have this quiet confidence to you, this self-assurance, and this self-respect, because this is a very empowered energy, the Queen of Wands. And so even still, you would have this sort of intimidating factor to you because this is someone who knows their worth, you know, and the Queen of Wands is quite beautiful, right? Again, like, I'm not talking about necessarily the physical, although again, like, I do think your future spouse is quite physically attracted to you, but again, it's the beauty of your soul. Okay, and it's that happiness, it's that optimism, it's that hope, you know, it just radiates outward. We have the Fool here. Yeah, there's just this happy-go-lucky kind of energy that you have. Yeah, they just see, it's kind of similar to pile one in that they see so much potential in you and they see a future with you. But there's something about you that makes them want to be brave, that makes them want to be courageous. Yeah, and I feel like they really appreciate the way in which, once they start talking to you, the banter, the rapport that you all have. I think there's a lot of flirting going on, like verbally. I think that you all have really good quality conversations. We have the Chariot here. You feel kind of like a victory to them, you know, like, yeah, we have the Devil card here. There's a lot of physical attraction. Yeah, I don't think that they felt like they could be with someone like you, you know, and that could just be like your future spouse could be very attractive themselves and they just don't recognize it, you know, they just don't see themselves in that way. Yeah, I think there's an energy about you that makes them feel quite peaceful. With the Eight of Swords, yeah, I feel like they don't see how attractive they are, and that's something that they sort of work through and getting to know you, right? Like, we all constantly grow, you know? It's not like when you meet the one, you're a perfect person, right? Like, we all have our own issues, our own limiting beliefs and things like that. And I think for your future spouse, they had some struggles with understanding their own self-worth, and through knowing you, especially because fire sign energy can be quite kind of like a hype person, you know, like bringing about other people's confidence, you know, helping other people understand like how great and amazing they are. You know, fire sign energy is like it's that confidence that fire signs have that help them build up other people, you know. They don't see other people as a threat or anything like that, so they can be quite supportive, you know. Again, like a hype person, I think, is the best way to describe it. And so I think that just you being yourself, pile two, helps your future spouse understand their own self-worth. And so that's something they're working through. And again, it's not like you're uplifting them, you know. They're doing that work on their own, but I just think you being yourself is helping them. And I think they just feel a lot more at peace with who they are as a result of knowing you. Page of Pentacles here. Yeah, I think just because Pentacles energy is very grounded, right? I think in a very grounded, practical way, I think you being who you are helps them improve their own behavior towards themselves, and they start to recognize and appreciate their positive qualities and their value and what they're adding to the relationship. And so with the Six of Swords here, I think you represent them leaving behind this mental prison and moving in a better direction in terms of how they view themselves. Three of Swords, they're leaving behind this past heartbreak. I kind of wonder if your future spouse was with someone who really put them down, maybe someone who was verbally abusive in some way, someone who made them feel like they were ugly, not good enough, not attractive. Yeah, it kind of feels like that to me. It feels like they were, and that could have even been a family member or a caregiver, or maybe they had a really toxic friend, but it feels like someone in their past was really putting them down, and you know, really preventing them from seeing how incredibly amazing and wonderful they are. And just as a result of knowing you, they start to appreciate what they have to bring to the table as well. Okay, so pile 2, let's look at your message from your future spouse's higher self. What do they want you to know at the time of you viewing this reading? It says, don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only in being true to yourself that you can be true to others. Well, that's some good advice. So however that applies to your life, pile 2, I like that a lot, because maybe you're going through this in some capacity yourself. I think it's probably very different for you, but if you're in this 8 of Swords energy, what you think you should do, yeah, I could see that being some 8 of Swords energy. If you feel like you're stuck and stagnant in some way yourself and making decisions that aren't true to you, maybe you two are also going through it, but just in different ways. That's some good advice for you. All right, pile 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to simply watch the ads. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. And again, a huge thank you to the subscriber who suggested this video topic. And I will see you guys in my next one. Take care, pile 2. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So your future spouse had a lot to say. You definitely got more cards than the other 2 groups. You even got 2 messages from your future spouse's higher self that we'll read at the end of the reading. But let's get into it. So as you can tell, we're doing the Oracle cards first today, and then we'll shuffle your tarot on camera. I did want this reading to be a shorter reading. So we have Mediator, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. We have North Node, Destiny. We have Saturn, Wisdom. We have Jupiter, Expansion. We have Friendship, bring to me friendship true, sharing laughter, understanding too. We have Healing. We have Magical Blessings, Wisdom, and Stargazing. So this friendship card makes me so happy, like, especially given that you also have the Mediator card here as well. It feels like your future spouse falls in love with you because they see you as a friend, a true partner. They see you as someone who is just someone that they can share their life with. Like, this is someone that will be with me when times are good, and someone who will stick by my side when I'm having a rough time and when I'm not my best self. Like, it feels like even if, which I'm not saying this, but even if things didn't romantically work out for you, there would still be this solid base of friendship here. Like, this is the type of relationship that can stand the test of time, right? Because not all marriages last. And so I really, really love your spread here. Like, your future spouse is saying, you're someone that I can be my most authentic self with. There's such an energy here of you accepting them for who they are, you know? And with this Mediator card, like, yes, they like that you're very fair and very balanced and that you're honest and that you value truth. You know, they like all that about you, but it also feels like, to me, what they're telling me here is that you are able to handle, like, their best self, but also their shadow self, you know? Like, you can negotiate both sides of them. You accept them completely. And that acceptance of them and their shadow self, because we all have a shadow self, right? Like, we all have aspects about ourselves that are difficult for us to acknowledge are there, right? That complete acceptance of them is so close to unconditional love. Like, that feeling to them is so freeing. Like, I don't think that they've ever felt loved like that before. Like, that all-encompassing love that you have for them it just makes them feel so good. Like it warms their heart. Like this is someone who accepts me completely, you know? And because you accept them in that way, they accept you right back, you know? Like they feel like you both have an understanding of what real, authentic love is. And because of that, it just feels very healthy. It feels very balanced. And it feels like your love mends their heart. You know, like I feel like your future spouse has had such a difficult, challenging life. And for you to love and accept them the way that they do, the way that you do, is so therapeutic for them. You know, like I feel like you're everything that they've been praying for, everything that they've been wishing on a star for with stargazing here. Like you are a wish come true. You feel like a fulfillment of their destiny and love. Like this is the type of love that I have been wishing and hoping for. You know, I feel like your future spouse, I'm sorry, I'm sniffly. It feels like your future spouse has been going through a healing journey, you know, and they're closing out that last cycle of that journey when they meet you, and you're sewing like the final stitches here. You know, like it feels like this is their reward for going through that healing journey. Like you are the reward, you are the light at the end of the tunnel. And it feels like you guys are both so emotionally mature and wise, like you've been through a lot. You have wisdom here twice. And Saturn is father time. Saturn teaches us lessons through experience, right? That takes time, and it's difficult, and it's a long journey, and it's an energy of being tested and put through challenges and learning self-discipline and learning how to grow and develop again, like wisdom through experience. And next to that, you have Jupiter. Like these are very opposite energies here. Saturn's a difficult teacher. Jupiter is like luck and happiness and being blessed. And you literally have like wisdom and then magical blessings, Jupiter. And so it feels like your future spouse has been put through these tests and these challenges, and you may have as well. And then at the end of that, when they've reconciled this, it's like you are the magical blessing that they get. And so they feel like fate brought you together. It feels like divine timing. It feels like you are a true blessing in their life. And it's because you feel like the sort of love that they've always deserved, the sort of love they've always hoped for. Let's get some tarot now, because your messages are quite deep. Pile 3, please, Spirit. And there's a real sense of gratitude here. Like they're so grateful to have you in their life. They're so incredibly grateful. Pile 3's future spouse's higher self, you are welcome to come through. And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Pile 3, why does their future spouse fall in love with them? Pile 3. Strength. It feels like their resilience has really been tested and they've been through so much in their life. And again, like you feel like that wish come true for them. I also think that you have likely been through some difficult challenges yourself, some difficult cycles. I don't think necessarily that you've had the exact same struggles, but I do think that sort of their strength recognizes your strength kind of thing. You know, it feels like you're tough enough to handle their story, and it feels like they can trust you and they can be open and honest and vulnerable with you because you're not going to judge them. We have the sun. Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, and we have the Two of Wands. Yeah, it feels like your future spouse has been dreaming and hoping and wishing for a change. And, you know, when you're going on a healing journey, a lot of the changes that are happening for you are internal, right? And so as you're going through this journey, like especially, I think your future spouse has likely been in like this hermit mode. But as you go through that journey, you start to wonder like, okay, I'm making all this positive progress. I'm making all these changes within myself. when am I going to see those changes reflected in my outer world, you know, in my external circumstances? And it feels like you sort of kick off the start of many blessings in their life. So it's like the storm clouds have finally cleared, the uncertainty has finally cleared. They've had to have a lot of faith and a lot of trust that you were coming. Like, it feels like they've been working with their guides and praying for you and hoping for you and wishing for you. And they've had to have a lot of trust and faith that you were coming in. And they've been sort of wanting this sense of adventure, wanting a new start, wanting a new chapter to begin. And again, like, you are kicking off the first of many blessings is what I'm trying to say. This is so sweet. Like, it's so, so sweet. Death, yes, like they've been through so much healing and so much transformation. 10 of Cups. You just make them so happy. Like, I think you all will have this sort of dynamic where you laugh so much together, you have so many inside jokes. You know, you could talk for hours on the phone. Like, you can say so much to each other without even having to say a word. Like, you know, you see them make a certain face or, you know, something about their body language and you instantly know what they're thinking. Like, it feels like you all are very psychically connected. I wouldn't be surprised now, like, if you wanted to just say, my future spouse's higher self. Like, if you just wanted to talk out loud to your future spouse or think in your head like a message to send to them, or if you wanted to send them a sign, I feel like you could speak that into existence. Like, I feel like you could say that and they would hear you or see you in their dreams. There's something very magical about this. Like, I wonder like how you two are going to meet. Like, I feel like it's going to be quite special. The 3 of Cups, maybe you meet in a social setting or through mutual friends. I feel like with the 3 of Cups too, Page of Pentacles, yeah. I feel like you all are going to grow so much together, but I also feel like there's a very loving and nurturing bond between you two where you really are very supportive of one another's goals and you really celebrate every small accomplishment, because I feel like you two are going to go on a new journey together. It feels like you two are meant to grow a lot together in this lifetime. You're meant to learn a lot from one another. The Empress here. Yeah, I feel like this is your future spouse's energy. Like, they have called you into their life because this is a very receptive energy. You know, the Empress doesn't have to do a lot. You see her like lounging on this fancy pillow, right? Like, she calls the blessings that she needs into her life. She doesn't have to exert control. She just sets an intention, sits back, and she receives. You know, like, she is creativity. She is fertility itself. She can create something from nothing. You know, this is this divine, feminine, receptive energy. And so you are a blessing that they are going to receive. Two of Swords here. Yeah, it feels like to me, like they've really had to, it feels like to me like they've put on this blindfold and they've sat back and they said, you know what? I'm just gonna wait and trust my intuition and let whatever needs to come my way. Like, they really have sort of said, enough with indecisiveness. I'm just going to trust my intuition and follow whichever path is made clear to me. You know, like, it feels like they've been at many crossroads in their life, and every time they take a turn, they're getting closer to you, and they're doing that. They're walking in faith. You know, they're following their intuition here. But I think what they're telling me as well here is that it's sort of this energy of like, when you know, you know. And it's not about, like, pile 1 was kind of like a checklist, like you're meeting everything I've ever wanted. You, pile 3, it's more of like, it's very spiritual. It's very, it's not as grounded in reality here. It's very much like, our souls were brought together for a greater purpose. You know, it feels very divinely guided. It feels like this was meant to be. It feels like you were guided spiritually towards one another, and it just feels very intuitive. You know, it's hard for them to put into words why they fall in love with you. It's like the why doesn't even matter. You're just their person, and that's a fact of life. That's just, it is what it is. Like, this was meant to be. Like, you're my person. My soul could have never been at peace with anyone else. This is it. Like, you know, I asked for the love that I deserve. I asked for a love that was going to bring me complete fulfillment, and you are the manifestation of that. I didn't ask for someone tall or someone good looking or someone who was a great cook or an artist or whatever. Like, I didn't ask for, you know, a list of qualities. I just asked for the love that I deserve, and that's you. And that's why they fall, you know, like, you're just it. You're just it. You're good for them. All right, let's look at the messages here from your future spouse's higher self. Again, you got an extra card. So this is what they want you to know at the time of this reading. So we have embrace. Through each other, you find the missing pieces. This does feel like a divine counterpart, a soulmate connection here. And we have soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. Yeah, there's a lot here about the law of attraction. And even just making a wish, you know, saying a prayer and believing it will come true. Like, it doesn't even feel like you have to do all of these, like, law of attraction manifestation rituals. Like, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like you're a good person and believe that this is possible for you. I mean, and that's both sides. That's you and them. Like, believe this is possible for you. Continue to work on yourself and your healing. It feels like you're already on the path towards meeting each other in the physical. It feels like you're already spiritually connected. Your higher selves are already talking to each other. Okay, so pile 3, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to simply watch the ads. Thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting the channel, and thank you to the subscriber who suggested this video topic. Thank you again for letting me do this reading for you today, pile 3, and I will see you in my next one. Take care. Best of luck to you.